My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review for The Legend of Korra Season 1, and this review will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I have heard nothing but great things about Avatar The Last Airbender, and I just watched it for the first time, and I eventually fell in love with it. I think it's a really great show, but I haven't heard too much about this show at all. I'm not familiar on what the general consensus is, if people love it, if they hate it, but I gotta be honest, I really loved this season. Like, for 90% of it, it is truly exceptional. I think this is a perfect evolution of Avatar The Last Airbender, where it takes place many years after that show, and how those characters and their stories have become legend. And some of them are still alive, they're still with us, and we see some of them and how they influence our characters in this show, but it never feels fan servicey. It always feels true to the story and to the characters. And I love how we see this city, New Republic City that forms. And the sport that lots of people play called pro bending, I really loved that. And that scene when Korra is resistant to her air training and then she eventually becomes like a leaf in the wind during the combat was a really terrific moment. You got yourself a nice good old fashioned love square, I guess, which adds plenty to the characters and story in my opinion. I know some people don't like that, but I do. And you've also got yourself an excellent villain. One of my big issues with the show Avatar was the fact that Ozal was kind of forgettable. He didn't have the weight he needed to, but Almond is completely different, and if you ask me, much superior. He wants to balance things out by getting rid of all the benders. And it's a really great motive, and the fact that he's mastered taking away bending, like he feels like a real legitimate threat. There's this one scene when he tells Korra he could take her bending away right now, but then she'd become a model. And I was like, this is great. This is emotional. It's dark. I love it. Like, there's real stakes at play. And then we also find just how far it goes with Asami's father, which also has lots of emotional weight. And then you see how there's the opposite side, where they want to retaliate against the anti-benders by locking anyone who doesn't bend up. And it showcases both extremes so perfectly and having plenty of nuance in the conversation. And it just shows you how paranoia and fear can take over. So I really loved all that. I thought it was incredibly well written stuff. And then we've got everything going on with the bloodbending, which was an aspect of the original show I loved. And how it further evolves here was really dark and disturbing. You know, like, you just feel so hopeless for the main characters whenever it comes into play. And Almond takes away Taewok's abilities, and yeah, Almond's not good, but sometimes taking away bending could be a good thing. So once again, it's nuanced and it's well balanced. And you know, there's a moment when then Bifong actually loses her powers, and I'm just like, they really went there. So I think there was so much greatness on display. It really does showcase the nuance of good and bad and how both sides have a bit of both and how extremes are the real threat to everyone, and the new characters I really loved. Korra has so much personality and she carries this show incredibly well. She's not like Aang, who was just immature and young. She's cocky, she's full of it, and how that catches up to her a few times. I really like Tencent here. I thought he was a good character. J.K. Simmons is it's always nice to hear his voice. Amon, I already said, is a great villain for the most part. Then Bifong is really great character as well. It's nice to see, Toph's lineage passed down. Continue on, I guess I should say. I really liked Mako and Bolin. I thought they were both very likable characters that had a great friendship with Korra. Asami was a really great character that could have been bland but has plenty of depth behind her. And Tyriok was a really great character. So the new bunch of characters really worked for me. They're not on the level of the characters from Avatar The Last Airbender, but I still loved this group. I thought the animation was really impressive, and you got yourself some great action scenes. It made me laugh a few times. But I do got some issues, and well, let's begin with the first episode, which was a little underwhelming. It's a lot of catching up, a lot of exposition, but by episode 2, I was into it. But I think the last 2 episodes dropped the ball. You can kind of tell that because I didn't mention it when talking about the story, but I didn't really care for Tyriok's and Amon's backstory. They made it sound like it should have more weight than it actually does, and it just didn't do much for me. And then Korra losing her powers only for her to get them back again just really annoyed me. Like, it's just like, oh my goodness, like, you really went there, and now it's just too clean, too tidy of an ending, which was my same issue with the series finale of Avatar. So they keep doing it. If she legitimately lost her powers for good, I know the show was meant to be 1 season, but then it continued on, but I would still have been really impressed. Maybe season 2 had to go with her going on a quest to get her powers back, or something like that. So the last 2 episodes dropped the ball a bit for me, and there's one fight scene, I think in the episode, like episode 10 or 9, where one of Tensen's kids is beating people up using farts, and I'm not really a fan of that personally. It was a bit too childish, but I still loved so much of this season. Like, so much happens. Like, it is just loaded with substance, and it moves at a fast pace. 23-minute long episodes, and they're just filled with character and story and world building and just really terrific work. I love this new group of characters. I love so much of the story on display. It's really rich thematically, and yeah, like, despite an unsatisfying finale, I still can't recommend this season enough, and I'll give Legend of Korra Season 1 an 8 out of 10. Okay, have you seen The Legend of Korra Season 1? What did you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.